Okay, so I'm about to show you some of the greatest looking games you can get on your Android phone. Literally watch this video from the beginning to the end, and I guarantee you will find at least one title on here that you are going to download and absolutely love. With that being said, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So we're going to kick things off with Epic Citadel. Whilst technically speaking it's not really a game, there aren't any objectives as such, it's a glorious thing to explore. You simply travel around the environments, taking in the sights and just being amazed at how it works on a mobile platform. It's running off Unreal Engine 3, the same engine that often powers a lot of the PlayStation 4 titles you see, and they've just recently added a new ultra high quality tier to really test your smartphone. So next up is Shadowmatic, an almost complete departure from the previous game in that it's entirely linear. You travel through a set of levels with the objective of trying to manipulate these objects so that their shadows form a certain shape on the wall. It's not only a challenging and intriguing game, but it's bordering on photorealism. Given that there aren't any sort of moving vast landscapes to render, the game can really focus on making the few objects that are present incredibly detailed, and the lighting is spectacular. So next up we've got Lords of the Fallen, which is admittedly bordering on the expensive side of things. However, for that you are getting a good 40 to 50 hours of gameplay, but more importantly, especially for this video, the graphics are amazing. This runs at a smooth 60 frames per second if you've got a fairly high-end device, and for the most part I kind of forgot I was playing a mobile phone game and was being thrown back to when I was going through Dark Souls 3. In terms of the way the game plays out, the best way to describe it is Android's answer to Infinity Blade on iOS, which is to say you've got a fair bit of control over your character and degrees of motion, but it's far from being an open world game. It's not like you can just explore any point you want to. So then we've got CarX Drift Racing, which I'm a little bit surprised by. Considering the quality of its visuals, its gameplay, and even the depth of progression, it's kind of drifted under the radar a little bit. I'd go as far to say that the quality of the environments, the high resolution textures and shadows, and the particles make this just as good looking if not better than Real Racing 3, by some considered still the best racing title on Android. And this also has a lot of the same progression aspects that game does, being able to visit garages, customize your car, and buy these crazy new smoke colors for when you start drifting, which is one of the core elements of this title. So then we've got the game you probably came for. It's an absolute bombshell, and to be honest I'm amazed that at the time of downloading it only had 10,000 downloads. This is called Afterpulse, and I'm going to say it's the best looking shooting title on Android. Literally from the moment you boot up the start menu, I think you'll be impressed. The quality of the models rivals pretty much anything we've seen on the last generation of consoles. On top of that, the action is frantic, the shooting is fluid, and whilst the game still lacks a little bit in features compared to Modern Combat 5, as a premise and as an initial concept, it's working really well. The quality of the character models is really up there, and I love the way the light reflects differently off different textured surfaces. Unfortunately I did have some forced closes while playing it, but I'm going to put this down to the early nature of the game. So then we've got Godfire, which I suppose right now is the closest equivalent to God of War that you can play on your phone. And I think that while compared to Afterpulse it's a little bit lacking in the graphics department, it's a pretty good looking game in its own right. So it's a combination of RPG elements, lots and lots of combat, as well as a little bit of puzzle solving, but nothing too complex there. The models and animations are generally good, but unfortunately textures on this game are a little bit muddy. So then we have Leo's Fortune. Again, a pretty pricey title, but you really are getting something for that. So whilst on the face of it it's a 2D platformer, it's incredibly well done. The combination of visual variety, increasingly difficult puzzles, and these gorgeous graphics make it a joy to play. In terms of its art style, it's pretty reminiscent of some of the more recent Rayman games, but the character itself is far more detailed. Pretty much every hair on his body is animated, so watching him fly around these beautiful levels is honestly a joy. On top of that, there's plenty to explore, and the game is entirely voice acted, which is a really nice touch. So guys, thanks a lot for watching. If you managed it this far, then I really appreciate it. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications. That would really help me out. It would really mean a lot to me. With that being said, I'm Mr. Who's the Boss,